the wheel takes up one day and 3 months of my process, right? I do remarkably little on the wheel at all. I used to use the wheel, and this is important. Sasha and I were talking about this yesterday. In order to have gotten the facility and the interest that I have with the wheel, I've been throwing for 13 years, pretty much 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, whatever I can get, however I can work, right? But at a certain point, my interests shifted, as you guys will see in my slide presentation, right? And so now I work primarily in molds, and I use the wheel as a starting point. So I can throw things very rapidly. I can fill a table when I'm not talking and drinking juice. I can fill a table in a day, or I could throw 30 things in a day. And then I can selectively piece them together, as you'll see in the mold portion. And then I have to make the molds. And then I have to play with the molds. And then I glaze forever. And then I put gold on it, so the wheel thing isn't really important. And I use the term, or it's not as important as the rest of the process. Using the term hand building loosely, I would say I do a tremendous amount of it. But slab construction, not that much anymore. Coiling, not so much. But making things with the hand, which is, I guess, the loose definition of it.
But do you teach that?
Hand building? You bet. Students need to have all the tools.
Do you make art and put it in galleries or anything like that?
I sure try to.
You try to?
Yeah, I make a lot of stuff. And when I do my little talk today, I have a bunch of different bodies of work that I've produced, and you'll see one or two things from here or there. But I try to make as much stuff as humanly possible, and then I just get it out and try to sell it.
How important is that to you, to be able to sell it?
Not as important as to be able to make it. But as I tell people, my wife is expecting, so in March I have to change that philosophy a little bit. But I have until March to party as hard as possible in the studio. It will never be important for me to sell work at the expense of pushing work forward. It will never be important for me to I'll never do a good job of making 100 bowls and selling them for $50. I just did something like that recently where I made 100 bowl place settings for this show. And they didn't really work. No one, when I don't have that amount of time to invest in an object, I don't do a good job. And they were, I think, a little bit over the heads of the people that were there. But I'm not willing to ever budge on that sort of research. I'm making a bowl right now. This bowl will go against everything that Sasha tells you to do. So, when I'm long gone from here, Sasha's talking to you guys about bowls, just please say, that's not how Peter did it. It will make me feel good. I'll get a little skip in my step for a second. Okay?
Okay.
Sweet.
Why are you putting those lines in?
For fun. Sasha asked me to throw back a little bit towards some older work. And when I was making bowls like this, I would always put this little thing here so that I could wrap whatever glaze surface thing was happening right to this point, and I had a definite point in the work where the glaze stopped. There was a transition, right? It was sharp. That's very important to me aesthetically. Some people just, things can be a little more loose. Not for me. Has to be, I have to have a reason for it to be there. So I build these little moments on the surface of the form where I can interact with glaze. I'm putting that bead down there. It might be a good place to put some gold. Okay. So, Sasha will disagree with me here. And that disagreement is what makes our friendship so exciting. But what I do is, remember I told you not to step on the wheel too fast because the thing will go out, right? Centrifugal force. Now we're going to use that to our advantage. So I'm going to push this rib in, and it hits the ground. And as I start going out, I'm going to speed the wheel up, and it's naturally going to fall outward.
Is this related all to glass blowing?
This relates a whole ton to glass blowing. How many glass blowers do we have in here? Okay. Do you guys know how to make rondelles? Yeah? Right? Basically what happens in glass blowing is that people make a little bowly thing like this that kind of curves back inward. They want to have a flat circular dish, right? And so they get it hot. And as it starts getting hotter, they start spinning a little faster, and then it just rolls out. They are using gravity, or not gravity, but the force of the spinning to their benefit. This is the same deal. I'm just allowing that force to pull it out.
Can you talk a little bit about the thickness difference between the base and the top?
Yeah, the top's a little bit thin for my liking now. And until about here, it will follow suit. And then it dramatically gets very thick at the bottom. What I do with that thickness is I trim it into something that's a very over-exaggerated, large, beefy foot. So I'm leaving a ton of material down here so that I can get back at it. It's my point of view that if you don't trim the thing, it's not worth making the thing. This might be in contention with other people's points of view, but I really like trimming. I think that there's something about that moment of flipping the thing over and going, well, there's another experience here that's perhaps even more exciting than the object itself. People like flowery things. It's kind of a flowery thing right there. All I was doing is just using the flex of the rib to push down into the clay. 2 fingers right there.
Could you hold that up for a second?
Yeah, let me just finish it up a little. Maybe I'll make this into a little donut-y thing. I'll kick it out. Why not? It's America. Kick this thing out. Uh-oh. I have a little air bubble there. A little point of weakness. This was not a good idea. We failed.
Oh no.
Oh well. You guys get the point, right? Right, so right? Fossil? Ooh, I never thought of that.
You turn it this way?
Yes, sorry. Still not dry enough to trim.
Do you want a big piece or?
Did we find a big bat?
I think the biggest one we have is behind that wheel over by your teapot.
The teapot body on there?
Yeah, is that not
Okay.
that?
What time do we have left? 10? We have a little bit of time?
We have about 40 minutes.
Okay. Cups, big plate. What do you guys want?
Big plate.
Big plate, and we have to fit a bottle in too.
Oh, can you toss me a quick 3-pounder and then some 8-pound stuff? That's the 8-pounder?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go there. Yeah. Hmm?
Is that bigger?
It's big enough. We'll call it good. We'll have I'll just make it have a big lip.
Can I talk about what the bottom should look like before it hits the?
This one's a little bit exaggerated right now. This little thing here, but I'll smack that out when I get to the wheel. See how it's round? Generally, the best shape, the ideal shape to have, I'll make it real quick, is an egg.
Got a slightly bigger one here. Or,
How big is this? Oh, bigger bat.
yeah.
Thank you. This looks like this could be a designer thing. Sasha. Check out her new fall line. Pink Masonite. Bam. We could work together, you and I. We could make something happen. Okay. If you have some sort of a little bump underneath here, it will catch air. Nobody wants that. So, nobody wants that. So that's why I'm making this egg shape. Ooh. Thought this was already wet. It's not moving this time. So plates are kind of fun demos because you get to see the clay move differently, right? We're going to stretch it out this way. Yeah. We're going to stretch it out. Yeah, this takes a fair bit of strength. Now, right here, this can be a very problematic area when you're making these plates. You have to make sure to have it kind of mushroom out, like snow falling down the side of the mountain, right? If it's flat on top and you push it down, it'll go around it like a wave, and you'll get caught in the undertow with a bunch of air bubbles. Right, not good. And right there, I did what I told you not to do. My elbow is up, right? Sometimes you just need that strength to push it down. But by the time you're making something this large, you'll have a better idea of how to deal with it. So I'm opening this thing with a more broad, big, far-reaching thing. I'm not trying to go in with one finger and pull it out. Trying to stretch the clay out towards the outside of this. I'm leaving a fair bit of clay. So that I can trim it. I imagine this was going to take at least 30 minutes for this one, but no one's asking questions, so I'm just zooming through it.
What are you doing with your head?
That's not a question that I respond to. Disrespectful. Low blow. Some of us have issues. My issue is that my head bobs. It's they call it Potter's nod. It happens to people. And it's a real bummer.
How thick are your walls right now?
Oops. Much thicker, right? I'm in this tough point where I don't know if I want to have a split lip like this that might be kind of pretty, or if I want a really thin thing. I think I'll do the split lip. I think I'll do a very silly thing. We'll test the waters. We'll see if I can mess this up or not. So it's still a little bit thick, but that's kind of nice. You don't want your plate to be too thin or else it'll feel dangerously fragile at the dinner table. Oops. Notice how much time I'm going to invest in trying to clean up this little area right here. It's important. Right, Sash?
So you're calling this a plate. What's your definition of a bowl?
I don't know, it seemed like it was going to be a plate in the beginning, but this might be a low bowl. I haven't clearly defined these items yet in the way that I have perfume bottle jewelry box. we'll keep in fashion with our other bowl. We could put that one on top of this, and it could be it could be this, but larger, right? Did that make sense to anybody?
Yeah.
Sometimes. The glaze will take that nicely.
Making handles?
I don't know. I'm making something. I was thinking that it would be this nice little moment.
Do you create things while you make them a lot? Like without looking at it first?
No.
No.
I use these sort of demo experiences to play, because when I'm in the studio, the music's on, it's intense, nobody's talking to me, and it's serious, right? So I get to have fun now.
What are you listening to?
Well, I don't know, we shouldn't go there.
Outcast.
No, I don't listen to Outkast. Most of the time.
There's a mandolin player.
It's dangerous territory. Mandolin. Now I have no idea what I did. That wasn't as good an idea later. But whatever. Okay. So I know that we might be able to turn these.
It looks really cool.
Thank you.
Do you think playing an instrument improves your dexterity on the wheel? Or in your studio?
It's all very much connected. I think it helps your mind, like to unlock. If you can unlock how to play a scale, and you can figure that out in terms of the way that your left hand has to work with your right hand at that pace, you have a finer touch when it comes to thinking about ceramics. I don't think ceramics does anything for mandolin. It's too coarse, you know. It's too brutish. Mandolin's very soft, delicate. We will make something good here. I'm working working after hours for this one.
And I think by altering the piece after you're done throwing it, it starts to like bring a lot more of that sort of fluidity and like kind of hand felt versus like the piece just simply off the wheel starts to look kind of mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of brings back a lot of that kind of handheld, handled.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing when you're trying to make work for the table, that you bring some of that into it.
You don't necessarily want to make IKEA pieces. You want to make something that's really unique and make it yours.
Yeah,
They become much more seductive.
exactly.
Something with a lip like that, how is that going to affect how you trim it?
Well, I'll center a big mound of clay and I'll put this right on top of it. Or I'll rest it on these 4 points. So I think this is all I guess this is all I'm going to do with this. It looks like something, so we'll let it go.
I like it.